Sounds good.
All right. So we're going to call this workshop to order at 1 p.m. First on the topic or the agenda, I understand from Judy that you, Scott, spoke with the Highlands and the Shrewman about the water easements, and you have an update for us on that.
Yeah, so what we talked about with the Highlands is that in exchange for the easement and the use of their property in perpetuity, whatever you say, that we would offer them $5,000 for the easement. And that part of the agreement would also be that we would agree to repair any damage that was caused from the water break when it happened, that we discover when we put in the new water line. Also to replace the cement pad that we had to dig up to fix the water line. And that we will, between us, we'll try to recover that money from Primex, but either Primex or us will do that. And that we, as we had agreed to before, that we're going to pay to relocate their condensing units, the refrigeration. With the Shermans, the tentative agreement is that we would give them a credit of $5,000 in consideration of the easement on their tax bill. And so I think we're probably looking for a motion to have Laura draft the agreement with the Highlands and the Schumans and to sign them in the office when they're ready.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with that. Gil, do you have any questions or comments?
No, I'm fine with that.
Okay. So we have a motion to approve the agreement that was made with the Highlands and to have the attorney draft that agreement and then sign it in the office.
Yeah, that's the motion. I'll second it.
Yep.
Okay. And Gil, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Next we have sewer rates. I've been picking away at it. I'll share my screen real quick right now. You'll see we have the water rates that we discussed last week, and I built the sewer rates very similar to the water rates as far as having that base, like that base of 25,000 is kind of the average of what a household does. And then built commercial rates off of that 25,000. So if someone was 100,000 over, it'd be 4 times the base rate of the 25,000. And so that's how I came up with the commercial rates. After we walked through the water rates last week, I was looking at a lot of the business users. And last week I had set it up as a commercial 1, 2, 3. And I noticed that there was a lot of people that were kind of on like the very front end. So they might have used 110,000 gallons, but they were being charged for like what somebody with 200,000 or 180,000. So I created a secondary category that kind of cuts it in half. So we have a 1.5, a 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5. And so I did the same thing with water and sewer and just fixed those. It makes it a little bit more equitable for the businesses and residents. That being said, when we look at the sewer rates based off of the rates I just showed you, it really drives the cost up, not just for the residents, but for businesses. Looking at, let me hide this real quick. I meant to do a comparison, but I ran out of time. But looking at, this is a household of a senior citizen that lives alone on a income, Social Security income. Their water bill and sewer bill combined with the proposed rates would go to $770 a year. Whereas this past year, they would have paid, or in 2020, they would have paid $437. And so it's gone up by about $200 for the year. I think that's a little bit of a significant increase to take probably in the first year. A lot of businesses, it's the same way. I don't know if I have another example outlined here. Here's another household. This household would go up $300 a year. This household would go up 275. Unfortunately, I don't have any businesses outlined. I thought I had. But this business right here, I know that their sewer bill was under $1,000 last year, and it would go up to, 5 times, almost 6 times that. So I guess what I'm asking today is if I could have another week to kind of play with these rates and see if maybe we can find a little bit more of a balance, and maybe set it up to possibly go over 3 years, versus taking the hit in the first year. And I'll welcome some thoughts or comments on that.
Speaking on the commercial side, I think it's a huge hit, not just for me, but everyone in town and for the residents in town too, to go up triple, or I had looked at one of mine, it would have gone up 1,000%. So I think if we phase it in over 2 or 3 years, we'd be decreasing the amount that the department was in arrears for the last 20 years every year, and gradually getting it to where it should be. And the note, I was looking, the note that we have on the sewer system is only got 2 more payments left on it. So that would drop off in 2 years, which would could potentially lower the rates quite a bit. So just a thought.
Well,
It
it also gives other people a chance to join in on the, say, with the peeling project, and actually be getting more revenue, which would bring that cost down some too.
Right, because it's, it'll cost a little more to service new accounts, but it's not going to cost percentage-wise that much more. It's just going to be a little few more in chemicals and things like that, but no more in the contract for Welch's or anything like that. A little more in electricity and chemicals, but that's it. The physical plant is what it is, and that type of thing. So.
Okay. Well, then I will work on, I'll run a couple other number scenarios for us to look at for our next workshop. And hopefully then we can maybe get somewhere with a final proposal or plan to take to the residents and the community.
Sounds good.
Great. All right. So what else do we have on here? We have the park job description. So you have an update, Scott, for?
Yeah, I was talking to Mike about it, and after talking to Mike and a couple other people, I think we need a chance to, probably a group of us, to sit down with Mike and discuss it, what he really wants out of this position and what he expects and what we would like to get out of it too. So I think we talked about half, parks, half working with his crew, but I think he has some different perspectives on it. And I think with Kippy's job up for grabs, I think we need to really look at it a little bit here and see where we want to go with this. So maybe again, another week. I think by next week we can come up with something. And he and I did on the park side talk about Staple Rock and how to lay it out with parking spots and that place to take the money and so forth and so on. He did ask that we take out the 2 grills down there, which causes a lot of issues, I guess. So if it was all right with the group here, that we remove the grills and possibly just add a couple of picnic tables. But right now we're letting people have those 2 grills, but not allowing any other grills or open flames or anything like that. So you've got 4 dozen people competing for the 2 grills, and then we say they can't bring their own grills. So if we just didn't have grills around there at all, he feels it would make it a lot easier just to enforce.
And that's just at Staple Rock, or is he going to do the ones down behind the municipality parking also?
There's none he said in Cascade Park.
No, the other The behind
Yeah.
truants.
Yeah, behind Truant's, he said there were none there.
No, you're
Oh,
talking
okay.
about behind the fire station.
Right, behind the fire station, we talked about that, and he didn't see that as a problem because pretty much it's an unknown park at this point, and pretty much just locals use it. So just to leave that alone unless we have issues.
I would
Okay.
agree with that.
And then add maybe a couple more picnic tables down at Staple Rock, actually. So
Okay.
that was his thought. But we thought about, putting the, lines up one side of Staple Rock Road, and that would limit the parking to probably about 30 cars, which is plenty for that area, and do some really good signage about what I think we really did put some thought into that. And I think we're kind of trying to be practical about it. Probably should be English and Spanish in that case.
I think we should also have some signage for the, for Cascade Park, but downriver from that, between that and the municipal parking lot, that restricts fires and grills and all that too.
Absolutely. I think that's a whole nother issue that we need a lot of signage for the summer. We probably won't, well, we might make it for Memorial Day, but I think the one at Staple Rock has to be big and it has to be very clear about what is going on and what's expected. The fee of $20 and where it's put, that they'll be ticketed and so forth. So
Okay.
I talked to him also about Mirror Lake, and Gil, he was saying that along Mirror Lake Road isn't usually a problem of people parking. He said that people don't usually park there. It's up inside there. So
That's fine. It was just a suggestion.
oh no, I think it was
And I
a good
wanted to
one.
talk to Kevin about it, and Kevin didn't feel that it was an issue either, really.
Yeah,
I did speak
it's a
with
good
Mike
suggestion,
over the
but I
phone.
thought it was probably an issue. It sounds like it isn't. But I think down at Staple Rock would have to have signage on the roads and so forth, saying that there's no parking there in between the signs, so forth and so on. And I think
On the road,
on the outside roads, you know what I mean? Like,
that's DOT.
yeah, but anyway, they can't really park on the bridge anyway, so I wouldn't think.
Yeah, but they'll,
Oh, I know. It's gonna, we're gonna have to work through this. We're not gonna put this
Right.
up and say, oh, it's all done. I mean, it's gonna be a work in progress as we go along. And then Mike would put rocks up around the fire station so they couldn't park in that parking lot as well.
Okay. We should make sure to connect with Steve Ash too, that just to make sure that we don't, is it Steve Ash or Ed Nash? Mr. Nash,
Steve,
for
Steve,
his property to make sure that we're not doing
Ash,
any
yeah.
ash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I ran into him at the post office last fall, and he said it was just brutal trying to
Mhm.
keep people off that property, and it just didn't work, no matter what he did, except to stand there and argue with him. But other than that, there was no signage that
as you know,
could have
Gil,
put in that
rocks
would have
work.
stopped him.
As you know,
What's that?
Gil, as you found out, Gil, the rocks work.
Yeah.
That's,
Well, and the DOT signs too.
Yep.
Okay.
They were good enough to do that for us, and I think it's always been sort of a scary proposition for them anyways, being a state highway and people come whistling down off that hill.
Yeah.
And I petitioned them back in the 80s when I was at Gavoni's to do, if nothing else, at least lower the speed limit, because of people backing out of the parking lot or pulling in, and they wouldn't do it. So the fact that they did help us out with signs now, after we petitioned them to do that last fall, was excellent, and I'm thrilled with it. We'll see how it's going to work, but at least now we have a right to call a tow truck.
Well, they'll be parked in the road if they
Right.
decide to
Well, there's
park
a
along
ditch
the
right
side of
there.
the
They
rock.
can't park one half of the car in the vehicle in the ditch.
I think you and Aaron got a pretty good handle on it. So
Yeah,
Very good.
and my brother.
Okay. Great. Town office reopening. We're in this phase 2, I guess we called, and now we're looking to probably go to phase 3. I know Judy talked about how much she and Cheryl do appreciate and do like the appointment system, but they also see the need to be a little more flexible with having walk-ins, because not everybody can take the time to call and schedule an appointment or whatnot. But Judy has been looking at a system similar to what Lincoln has, that's an online based. So you can go on your phone and schedule an appointment, or you can go online or whatnot and schedule appointments. So she's looking at that and kind of looking to have a balance between the two of walk-ins and appointments. They're going to try to encourage appointments just because it makes it smooth and it keeps it from more than, one or two people being in the office at the same time, but they'll accept walk-ins.
I think that's a good compromise.
Okay.
The, and also, what about moving up our opening from June 1st to like May 15th?
For the town office?
Town office and, the meeting room and so forth. I'm just throwing that out
I
there.
don't know if the police department's ready to, they have to move like a whole bunch of wires and network cables and all of that kind of stuff. I think let's get everything in place, and I think June 1st will be, and I'm not sure if the library is quite ready yet.
All right, so
So
June
let me
1st is
check.
good. All right.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
agree.
let me circle back with Judy, with Wendy though, about the library also.
Well, that could be separate. You don't have to open the,
Well, if you open the
Conference room.
library, you got to open up the town office. I mean, it's the way it is.
Yep.
I mean, we can
Uh,
look at it on a week by week thing too. If we're ready a week early, we can do it.
Yep.
I have been
Yeah,
asked
and
questions
basically the
about when,
office is open.
I have been asked when we were going to open up to public meetings again. And I said, well, kind of looking towards June 1st. Just to see where the guidance comes from Concord and so forth. So any questions I've been asked, that was my answer.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I was just
Yep.
thinking we might be able to move it up a little bit. That's
I
okay.
did get the other day contact information for Access AV out of Concord to see what type of setup we can put into the conference room so that we can continue to do meetings where they're recorded for residents that are not quite comfortable yet to come out or to be involved but can't quite make a meeting or whatnot. So
As far as selectmen's meetings, how are we going to distance? I mean, if we're still going to have to distance come June 1st, it really makes no sense. You're going to
There's
get
no
4 or
reason.
5 people in the entire room.
There's no restrictions as of today, as of midnight tonight.
well, there's best
All
practice.
there's recommendations. There's
There's best
recommendations.
recommendations and best practices. And I do think we have some sort of responsibility to maybe lead by example a little bit.
Oh, I agree.
And so not necessarily having the chairs side by side like we've had in the past. Is
I
probably
think go
not,
with 3-foot distancing, which they recommend for theaters and things like that. If you go with 3-foot distancing, that doubles, it means you can have 10 or 12 people in the meeting room.
yeah, I think the only other thing, I know it's not a requirement, but I think in that situation, we should require masks in that room.
For
If we're
what?
going to have people sit, especially where we can't require, or we can't say you can't come in without a vaccine, and 2, we can't ask if people are vaccinated. So
Right.
I think the best way to keep everybody safe in that situation is to say, okay, we're going to put tables, or
Mask
put
required
seats,
for meetings.
and
Yeah.
masks are required.
Yeah, I don't think that's a big deal. I don't think at this point.
Okay.
Speaking of masks, Judy had asked if while they're working in the office, where they just by themselves, if they could be relieved of wearing the mask for the whole day. When the public's there, they would wear the mask at all times, but when they're just her and Cheryl or those guys just working together to lift the mandate for them, where the governor is letting all state office personnel work without masks, period. But they just like us to lift it so that they could not have to wear masks just while they're working by themselves without any public in the building.
Or with us. I mean, we're vaccinated.
Or with us, yeah, and that's our choice. But with the public. and just-
Essential, you could cover that by saying essential employees.
Yeah, and I don't have a
Vaccinated?
problem with it.
Essential vaccinated personnel.
Okay.
And
I
so,
think that could go for the whole the whole office.
Yeah,
We could give the library the same, extend it to the library, extend it to the PD and to Melissa.
And
Yeah.
again, if anybody has issues, wear the mask. I mean, it's totally voluntary.
but from now on, they would wear it when there's public in, general public walk in, they put it up and, and wear
Yep.
it. So,
And I think we should
Ultimately,
have a sign on the door that encourages outside folks coming into our town building to have a mask, again, because we don't know if they've been vaccinated or not, or we cannot
well,
ask.
I think we can still require them to wear masks.
Yep.
So,
And I think it'd probably be a good idea if we just left those plexiglass petitions up, period.
Yeah,
I
Indefinitely.
would forever.
we made the
It-
investment, why not?
And it stops some angry person from getting in their face too much, I think, honestly.
Yep.
Which,
We
which
should
has
check with the
happened.
library too and see if
It's not
they,
bulletproof, but
No, but it makes someone, they leaning over the desk and, kind of staring them down. I've seen it happen. So I think we should leave them up.
the
Gives them their
intimidating
space.
types.
all right. The employee health screening form, I think we can at this point eliminate it. We'll just kind of say to the folks in all departments that listen, if you're not feeling well, do your job and stay home.
Right.
Be responsible and stay home. We'll eliminate this healthy screen form if you guys can act like adults.
Act
and-
responsibility.
Exactly.
Act responsible.
Act responsible, exactly. Okay,
Because again, all those mandates go away tonight.
correct. All right. And then we already briefly touched on, I had live meetings on here and we've already touched on that. So we'll kind of circle back with that, as you said, Scott, on a week by week basis.
Yeah.
Very good. You guys anybody have anything else?
Nope, we've seen a lot of each other.
Yeah. All right, so next week when we circle back, hopefully I'll have some finalized sewer rates. We'll probably have a better idea about the park job description and what that will entail. And we'll kind of just quickly revisit selectmen meetings or any type of meetings, really, not just selectmen meetings, but planning board meetings, all of that. And returning to live sessions. Can you do me a
Okay.
favor, Scott? Can you remind the planning board to record their Zoom meetings?
I think Margaret knows that. I'll make sure on the meeting Monday that
Okay.
we do.
Yep, so I
I'll-
can get that and get that posted on the website. I mean, on the
And,
YouTube channel.
One thing I was gonna look at was the, what do you call those Parker keepers or what, to collect the
Iron
money?
Rangers?
Iron
Iron-
Rangers.
Yeah, Iron Rangers.
I'll
We may be
get,
able to get something similar to what we got from at the town hall.
yeah, I'll
from that
get
same
a,
company.
Judy got that or,
Mike, I think, did.
all right, I'll
think
talk to Mike about that.
No, those machines, I'm assuming, give receipts.
What it is we'll get envelopes. So the Iron Ranger is just like a steel tube that goes down into the ground far enough so that someone can't rip it out of the ground unless they have like a 18-wheeler. And it's got like a little slot hole, just like the Forest Service has, so that we'll have an envelopes there that folks will put their $20 for the day, if that's what we decide on. That's what I'm recommending.
I know.
$20 in the envelope, and then they slide it into that tube feed. On that envelope, they just pull off the tab, and the tab goes on their dash for the day.
Right.
Okay, just as long as there's some record that they actually did.
And if
Yep.
you have a local dump sticker, it's free.
Right.
So. that's
Well,
all.
not everybody has those now because they stopped giving them out for years, so.
Well, then they need to go get one.
Right.
And
We're
if,
gonna
and
encourage
if they get
folks
a
to-
ticket, then they can bring it to the town hall and we'll make it go away.
We'll take care of it.
Oh,
Right.
yeah, okay, let's not create more work for ourselves, but we should go over and check. Actually, I can go over and check maybe a little later this afternoon with the people at the transfer station and get them on board to make sure that every local or person that shows I don't care an electric bill or something that shows that they are local
I think-
are
I
getting
think
getting the stickers.
I
I don't
think
have
Lincoln
one.
put that in place remember we had a joint meeting with them. And
Yeah,
Jimmy and Nate had asked for that to come back.
Well,
So-
let me go over and check to make sure they're
Yep.
doing it.
Sure.
Yeah, Judy
sure.
has them too. Judy has
Who?
those stickers. Judy has
Okay.
them. They're being,
Yeah.
actually, they're not being distributed from
Right.
the transfer station. They're being distributed by the town clerks.
Oh, they used to distribute them there.
Right. But they said it was too, they felt it would be too, they couldn't verify things easy enough like the town clerks can. So Lincoln has theirs and Judy has hers.
And
they've
they're
been
really
giving
happy
out.
about it.
I'm sure.
So, but I think that's a nice, easy way to at least where we're introducing this program this year. That's a nice, easy way to say, okay, we have these stickers that are out already. Let's just use them. And then if we find that we need to go to our own sticker system because we're adding in Mirror Lake or whatever else, then we can look at that in the future.
And this Mirror Lake thing's just stuck in the mud. It's
I
unfortunate.
know.
But we'll see. And I think
Great.
the thing is, we get permission there. The idea is you can't regulate people using the ramp or anything like that, but you can regulate, if we get permission, how many people park there. Just like we're doing at Staple Rock, but we can't do that until we get her permission.
Right. Great. Anything else?
Nope.
Very good. All right. Well, I think we are good to go then. So I would.
I'll make the
entertain a
motion to make a motion to end the workshop.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Excellent. Very
Have
good.
a good weekend.
Have a great weekend. Happy Mother's Days to your wives.
Yes.
And to you.
Ah, yes. Thank you. Take care.
Yep, bye.